sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and can even keep you from getting the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. Listen, if you're like me, you hate doing admin crap. Number one, because you're not good at it. And number two, because you know it's taking you away from the stuff that actually makes you money. So why are you doing it? Do what I did. Go to worksby.com right now and let them pair you with a real executive assistant. Once I started working with Cheryl at Worksby, my income went up 40% in 1 month, and my working hours went from 70 down to 40. It's a game changer. Go to worksby.com right now, book a call, and tell them Walker sent you. If you do, you'll get 2 extra hours of service for free as a bonus. So if you're ready to finally stop doing the stuff you hate and focus on the stuff that makes you money, go to worksby.com right now. That's WORXBEE.com. Tell them Walker sent you, and you'll get those 2 free hours. Welcome to the No BS Sales School podcast. I'm your host, Walker McKay. Today, I want to talk to you about a subject, something that I think screws up more salespeople, something that salespeople miss that is costing them money time and time again, and yet they can't seem to figure it out. So by listening today, chances are there's a piece of this that you're not doing and it's costing you money. So you're lucky to be listening today. We're going to talk about today, why you need to listen, is I'm going to talk about how do you find out your prospect's decision-making process. So here are some signs that you're not doing a very good job at finding your prospect's decision-making process. One, when you take them, whatever your proposal is, and they say, great, thanks, we're not doing anything for 2 years. Another one is when you say, you take them your proposal and they say, oh, okay, great, we're waiting on some other ones before we can make up our mind. Another sign that you're not in front of the right, that you haven't done a good job finding decision-making process. They say, hey, this is good. Let me check with my partner, or I need to talk with my boss. None of that shit should be a surprise to you. None of that stuff should be something that you go, oh, right? You're supposed to ask beforehand so you know exactly what their decision-making process is. Right? It is up to us. And part of the decision-making process, part of the advantage is by asking decision process questions is we're helping our prospect think through it, because a lot of times they're not aware of what their decision process is. So our job, remember, in sales, right, we're to be the guide, not the hero. We're to be the guide to show the prospects how to buy. And if it's not the right fit, we're probably going to figure it out sooner than they are, right? And it's up to us to say, look, sounds to me like it's not the right fit, or it's not the right time, or we're not doing the right thing. So here are 5 questions in your decision-making process that I want you to memorize and use before you give your information away. Before I give you those 5, however, let me tell you the wrong way. And I bet, I don't know what percentage, a high percentage of you guys, if you're doing anything, this is what you're doing, and it's costing you money. You're saying, who's the decision maker? Or are you the decision maker? I don't know if you figure that out, but that's a really dumb way to figure out somebody's decision-making process. Why? Because chances are, if it's somebody who may not be the decision maker, they're going to tell you they are. And by the way, everybody in the company is a decision maker, because anybody can tell you no. You got to find the ones that can tell you yes. So, are you the decision maker is a really ineffective, dull, dumb question. Instead, like everything else, it's more subtle than that. So the first question I want you to ask to learn your prospect's decision-making process is to say, when were you hoping to have this fixed? When were you hoping to have this in place? When were you hoping to have it? When? Right, when were you hoping to sign a contract? When were you hoping to have this thing fixed? Whatever. When? Why would you ask when? because it's important. Somebody wants to buy something 2 years from now, completely different price, market, whatever. Urgency than now. They say, I need it today. Okay, that can affect pricing. All right, because somebody needs something today and you got to jump over 17 hoops to get it today, that should impact pricing. First question, when were you hoping to have this fixed? When were you hoping to have the contract signed? When were you hoping to make a decision? Second question, why then? Why? I need it next week. Tell me why then. Oh, I don't know. It just seems like it'd be a nice thing. Okay, what'd you just learn? No real rush there. Why then? Well, because I've got a contract that I have signed that I've got to deliver. And if I don't get this thing done by next Monday, I'm out of freaking business, right? Just found a little more pain. And you found a reason maybe it does make sense to jump through some hoops, jack up your price to get them what they need in a short time frame. I'm not talking about taking advantage of somebody, but if you've got to bust your ass to get something done ahead of time to match them, to match their needs, then you damn well should get a premium for it. When were you hoping to have this thing fixed? Why then? Don't assume you know, right? Don't assume they know. Let them think. Why then? Well, I was just kind of thinking it'd be a good thing. Well, suppose we couldn't get it for you for a month, which is likely in today's environment for a lot of you guys that sell products. Shit, it's hard to get stuff right now. Somebody needs something next week, you're probably not going to have it. However, if somebody says, I need it next week, then, and why? Because if I don't, I could lose my job, or because we lose this contract, or whatever it is, they're probably more open to looking at an alternative because they've got pain, right? If they want an XR 3000 and they can't get one of those for 6 weeks, but they need to start the job next week, maybe the XR 2000, the XR 4000 works for them, and they're willing to make that sacrifice because they got to have something. When were you hoping to have it? Why then? You can find out more pain then, find out more urgency. If there is no urgency, understand your chances of getting shopped are much higher. Third question, who else besides you needs to be part of the decision-making process? Who else besides you should be a part of this decision-making process? See, we're giving them credit, right? And also find out who else. You could be talking to the CEO of the company and say, are you the decision maker? And he says, yes. However, he may have to go check with his CFO, may want to do that. And I promise you'd rather have that guy in your meeting than not. Who else besides you needs to be a part of this meeting? Who else besides you needs to be hearing about this, right? Let them, and what happens a lot of times is you'll see them look up and to the right and go, well, let's see, I guess I need to get Jim and John and Susan. Help them figure it out, because you want to sell to the people that are making the decision. You don't want to have somebody else go sell to them for you. Chances are that won't work out so well. Learn ahead of time. If you've already given somebody your proposal, they go, well, now I got to take it to the boss. You've just lost 75% chance you're closing that business just went out the door. You just lost control. When were you hoping to make a decision? Why then? Who else besides you needs to be a part of this conversation? How about that? Might be a better way to phrase it. At that point, you can say, okay, why them? That's just a bonus question. The next question is, what would y'all need to see or hear from me to be able to make a decision? What would you all need to see or hear from me to be able to make a decision? See, this is a funny thing, because we believe that most people in the world are either like us or should be like us. Right? So if we're somebody, I'm speaking to you engineers out there and you lawyers out there that need tons of information, and you read every freaking line of every contract, you're going to think everybody needs that much information. And so you're going to just give that to them. You're going to start at page 1, tell them to hold their questions, and you're going to read every fine print and let them know and answer everything. If somebody does that to me, I'm not going to buy. I'm going to leave. I can't stand it. My first question I need to ask in my mind is, do I trust you? And if I don't trust you, do I trust this product? After that, I want a one-pager at best. Everybody's different. I have to recognize that some people need more information than a one pager. So I've got to ask, what is it you need to see or hear from me to be able to make a decision? What will y'all need to see or hear? How about Susan? What will she need? You think anything different there? Some people need to see all the spreadsheets, need to see all the stuff. Other people just need to know that you're going to do it and the price. We do not, this, what you have to remember is we are selling to people. We're selling to people. And as long as there are people that we're selling to, people will have to be salespeople. I don't think AI can replace that. Maybe one day, right? If you're selling a commodity and all you're doing is quoting prices, then you can probably be replaced, and you probably will be replaced. You're probably looking for another job right now. But if you're selling something consultative, something that can change, or there are adjustments, or that you've got to actually read people to sell, you're always going to have a job. But what are you going to need to see or hear from me to be able to make a decision? Give them what they want, only what they want. If somebody says they need a one pager, don't give them a freaking two pager. If they don't ask about the different colors it comes in, don't freaking tell them what colors it comes in. Why not? Because you'll just confuse them. Give people what they want, enough to make a decision. Anybody getting a clue here? What I'm caring about are decisions, yeses and nos. Who are we supposed to be calling on? Decision makers. What's their job? Make decisions. Sometimes they got to bring in other people with them, or they want to bring in other people, and that's cool because you don't want to bring them in. It's worse for you if they bring them in without you or after your meeting, because then you got somebody who goes, well, I know Jim over there. He could do the same thing. Question number one, when were you hoping to make a decision? Question number two, why then? Question number three, who else besides you needs to be part of this? Question number four, what would y'all need to see or hear from me to be able to make a decision? And question number five, who else besides us are you talking to? Who else besides us are you talking to? Now, some people are like, I don't want to ask that because it might tell them that they need to go talk to other people. They ain't stupid. If they were planning on talking to other people, they're already planning on talking to other people. They won't go, oh gosh, we should talk to other people because they asked if we were talking to other people. That shit is ridiculous. I'd rather you be upfront. If you're going to have competition, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other people, when do you want to know? I want to know right now. Then, quite frankly, you could decide whether you want to play. Because remember, we're asking these questions before you give your information away, because your information is your leverage. So I want to ask, who else besides me are you talking to about this stuff? If they say 5 other people, then you might say, okay, well, let's pretend you get all those in and everybody's the same price. How are you going to pick? How are you going to pick? Or let's pretend I'm $1 more. Can you think of a single reason why you spend $1 more than cheapest to buy this, to fix this? But I want to know before I get you, if you ever want questions answered, you got to get them answered before you give your freaking prices away, before you give your proposal away. Because as soon as you give it away, you've given away your leverage. They don't have to call you back. They got everything they need from you, and they can just call you back if they want to buy from you. They can wait as long as they damn want. You can say, oh, this is only good for 2 weeks. Bullshit. They don't believe that. As soon as they have your information, it's over for you. So before, you got to learn the decision-making process. This is basically where you go back and you're going back through everything that you learned up to now. You're just confirming it. When were you hoping to have it? Why then? Who else needs to be involved? What is it you need to see or hear from me to be able to make a decision? Who else is involved? Who else besides me are you talking to about fixing this? WS sales team, if you can follow that little 5-question sequence, it will save you a ton of time. You will stop chasing people that aren't ready to buy. You will give presentations with only the relevant information and nothing extra and nothing less, right? And all we're trying, remember, nobody can tell we're better till they see that we're different. And when you're asking questions like this, it shows, wow, this person has a process they're following. This person really understands me, and that's the goal. Remember, the sign I want you to see on your prospect's forehead, a lot of salespeople see the sign that says convince me on their prospect's forehead. And so then they jump in to try and convince people of why they should buy. I will tell you this, you're wasting your breath and you're pissing people off. I don't believe you can convince anybody of anything unless you got a gun or you can withhold food or some kind of comfort or shelter. And even then, it ain't a good plan in sales, right? The sign I want you to see in your prospect's forehead is understand me. Please understand me. And the only way you can understand is to ask questions, to learn the stuff you need to learn, and shut up and ask follow-up questions. One of the things you need to know is what is their decision-making process. If you know someone that needs to hear this, share the podcast with them. If you've learned something today, how about post it on social media? Post a link to the podcast on social media and say, here's what I learned on Walker's podcast. Fun. We've been getting good growth month over month in the podcast. Thank you all so much. You've given me good reviews. If you have not reviewed or rated this thing, please, I ask you to do so. Share it with somebody that needs to hear. If you're ready to have a conversation about whether or not a sales coach would help you or whether or not you guys, your team is ready for sales training, give me a call. 803-917-2817 or walker@walkermckay.com. Go to my website, walkermckay.com. No BS sales team, I love you. I appreciate you very much. Don't keep me a secret. Talk soon.